Jenkins,
Here.
Hartley, Hahn,
Here.
McKinley,
Yes.
Pearl.
Here.
I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
No proclamations this evening, I see, and no public comments. So the first item on our agenda is Section 1 consent agenda.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I'll second.
Call it.
Jenkins,
Yes.
Hahn,
Yes.
McKinley,
Yes.
Pearl.
Yes.
Motion carried.
With nothing in unfinished business, we move on to Section 3, new business. And the first item we have is Mrs. Jill Hardesty, representing the Farmer City Heritage Days. You have the floor.
Thank you, thank you. What grade is it in? You all know me, I'm the Heritage Days Committee, your committee for Heritage Days. We've set the dates for the 14 Heritage Days at September 5th, 6th, and 7th. It's a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. In 2013, the city spent approximately $2,800 for all the events that happened that weekend, and we had a $10,000 allotment that the city told us we could not go over. Our local sponsors last year were very generous to us, and we will be asking them again for any funding for their help and assistance. Our committee is asking the city for no more than $10,000 again to be covered by the city at the annual event in September. We already have $5,000 committed to the weekend festivities, and we're securing more every day to sponsor events and provide funding either in part or in full of the weekend shows and all the entertainment. We are still trying to secure a carnival. I spent 2 weekends ago, in Springfield at the Fair Convention. Was not successful of securing a carnival, so I'm still looking and searching. We feel that it was really a great event. It was very well publicized, and we had a lot of people here, despite all the unforeseen circumstances. We intend to include more bands. The Feuding Hillbillies has been contracted. That will be a Saturday night show. We're going to have a bigger Arts in the Park area for everyone. Kids games, the car show again, 5K, free lunch on Sunday, and also local food vendors like we've had before. And we're looking for anyone that's interested in assisting us in the planning efforts. They can contact me for any further information. Our committee meets the fourth Wednesday of the month at 6:30 at the Farmer City Library. So what I'm asking you from the committee is for a commitment from the city of no more than $10,000 again to help fund
When's your
the
next
Heritage
meeting?
Days.
When's your next meeting?
It's February 26th. It's the fourth Wednesday of every month at the Farmer City Library.
Okay.
So that's what we're asking you, is to assist in us in no more than $10,000 in 14 to put the event on.
I don't think the soonest that we could get a commitment to you would be the first Monday in March, correct?
Probably,
Yeah,
that'd be the soonest.
it'd be the soonest.
That's fine, just let us know. If we can't, we'll have to make other arrangements.
Does the council have any questions? I'm assuming we're not getting the same, well,
No,
we didn't ask, right?
no, they changed their name,
Okay,
as they probably should.
okay.
And they have pretty much told us if we can find another carnival that, yeah, they would not be back. So that's probably a good thing.
Do we have a good likelihood of getting another carnival? Because I know it's hard because once they've set the dates, they've locked the weeks, and it's,
It helps us it's in September,
okay,
that the weekend after Labor Day,
When was it last year? It was more in the
It was
summer.
the first weekend.
It was the first
Mhm.
week in September? Okay.
Yeah. I went to 12 carnivals,
Okay.
so we'll see. I got possibles from 2, but I haven't heard back from one yet.
Are
Okay.
these in-state carnivals?
Yes. That's what I tried, so they wouldn't have so far to go. When I talked to the former carnival, of course they say they lost money, they always say they lose money. But just according to our figures, we think that they made some money. Not a lot, but, you know.
'Cause we had to do a certain percentage.
It was $10,000,
$10,000.
usually up to $10,000, and then we would get 10% after that. So,
They
and
wouldn't
that's a fair,
Guarantee $10,000?
no,
Do they ask for a guarantee?
no. Most of the time they make you pay, and each ride is $2,000 to come.
Okay, well, that's a guarantee. So
Yeah.
they want so much money to come in here.
Well, the one last year didn't, but
Yeah.
these other ones
But
that
the
I'm
others
talking to, yeah, they want at least 2,000 up front for us to pay. And I don't know if I really want to do that. So, I don't know.
And then you say after they, when we get the 10%, after the 10,000 is made, or the money is made for what rides are here,
Mhm.
so it's 3 rides at $6,000, after 6,000 is made, then we don't get that back, or do we get that back?
No, it's a total of $10,000 revenue.
They want a total of $10,000, so they pretty much want a guarantee of $10,000 they want in here.
Plus $2,000 a ride.
Plus $2,000?
Plus $2,000 a ride.
Oh,
Yeah.
forget that.
And 2,000 is cheap. Some of those bigger rides go for 4,000. Yeah, so, I don't know, I'm still working, but now the one I am working on is in Indiana, it's just over the border. But it's not too awfully far.
Yeah, there's one over there that's been here in the past, way in the past. It's not that far away.
Okay. I've pretty much exhausted most of the Illinois now. So anyway, so if that happens, if we do not get a carnival, the plans are to move everything pretty much on Main Street.
And if you were to get the carnival, where are you gonna go to?
Main Street.
Main Street?
Mhm.
You say it's gonna be 3 days? It's gonna be a week.
Yes, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
If we don't get a carnival, we have to have it 3 days?
No.
No.
I'm assuming you're thinking of the air rides and what
Mhm.
have you.
Yeah. And it was a real tight fit last year, down Main Street with those bigger rides.
Oh.
But what if you had like, because usually it's, you cater to the smaller kids. If
Mhm.
you want that and have the balloon stuff, they come in here and, let them go in there. And I think there's places around here that have that, but come in here for a lot cheaper and everything.
Yes, yes. It's a lot more work for us, though,
In what way?
labor-wise, because we have to totally watch it.
On the air rides?
Mhm.
They won't, the people who do that won't come in here and watch it and sell the tickets and,
The ones that I've dealt with, no, we have to do all that.
Through the Kiwanis, I know that the ones that we dealt with, they would come in and
They would bring their own?
they put a
Okay.
man on it. or a
I've
man on
never
one.
been associated with those people.
What are we-
We've
what are
always
we-
had to do our
but are
own.
we renting those air rides then and then, okay.
Yeah.
But somebody doesn't come in here that owns them in contracts to
No,
come in and do that sort of thing.
no, we would pay them to come in. That's what I've always been accustomed to.
Jill, when I was growing up, my dad did something like this. He would go into small towns like Farmer City, and he had 3 rides, and we were guaranteed nothing. We
Mhm.
walked into the town, you set up, you took what you got, or unless they paid you a flat rate, to come in and let everybody ride for nothing. But
Mhm.
I've been exposed to that, so it's
That'd be nice.
yeah, it'd be nice. It'd be nice if somebody like John McKinley was around and had something like that,
Yeah.
for this town.
Right.
But
The request is $10,000, no, not just.
No more than 10,000.
Okay.
Like I said, you only spent about $2,800 last year.
Okay.
Everything
When's the last
else-
that when is the last,
Well, we need to know probably by the end of March.
by the end of March?
If we can't get a carnival by the end of March, we will know exactly what we're doing by the end of March.
And that'll depend on the city's 10,000?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
You know,
I mean, we would like for it to be, to say, yeah, go ahead, but
I think that the event is always good. I did like it when it was around the 1st of June. I thought that was a good time too.
Mhm.
But anyway, I think it's a good thing to have. If you can't get the carnival, cut the number of days and build up to it.
Mhm.
And maybe in time it would come back and everything.
Right. And I think that's what the consensus is on the committee. We changed the date, or we put the date longer in the fall, so we could get a carnival last year. Because
In the
July,
season,
because July and August are horrible for carnivals. I mean, everybody's already filled with fairs, but, we'll just see what we can get, we'll do our best. I guarantee you that. Okay,
Any other questions? Thank you.
just let me know, thank you.
This moves us to item 2.
Make a motion to approve resolution 2014-1.
Do I have a second?
I'll second
Discussion?
This is just part of the process now that we have the nearly 5 acres of land. In order to go into any type of a sale, then we have to declare this is surplus property. If it is declared surplus property, then a notice will be published in the paper declaring it.
declaring it for sale.
Yes, sir.
Any questions, discussion? Call it?
Han,
Yes.
McKinley,
No.
Pearl,
Yes.
Jenkins,
Yes.
motion carried.
Make a motion to approve resolution 2014-2. Repairs to the cemetery lift station.
Second.
Discussion?
What we have going on right now is the cemetery lift station is the primary lift station for the entire community. There's 2 motors sitting down in the bottom of the tower. If you've ever been down to that one, there's the same that's over here on Center Street. They're basically twins. 2 motors in there, and they operate off of check valves. The check valves haven't worked right for quite some time now. They've seized. Because they've seized, the motors are running continuously. One motor has failed. Right now it's bitter cold out, so we don't have a lot of flow. As soon as it starts to melt a little bit, we get a lot of flow. We've only got that one motor carrying the entire community. If it fails, we're going to have major issues here with sewage backup in the community. So the proposal, and I gave you part of what came directly from the company, so you could see the entire work that they were going to do as far as replacing the check valves. They're going to upgrade some of the panels down there, get that one motor rebuilt, and it is something that in dire need of getting taken care of.
We're doing both of them or just fixing one?
Uh,
Are we just gonna update the other one too in case it needs redone?
Update, we're just talking about the cemetery lift station.
Right, you said there's 2 pumps in there.
2 motors, 2 check valves, yes, they're redoing the works.
Is the other one working fine? We need to go ahead and fix both of them just that way they're both the same or not?
It's a total rebuild.
Total rebuild
Yeah,
for both of them?
make sure I'm talking about the same thing here, yes.
Okay, I
Two
thought we were
motors.
just fixing the one that was broke, so.
No, no.
Okay.
Any other questions or? Call it?
McKinley,
Yes.
Pearl,
Yes.
Jenkins,
Yes.
Han,
Yes.
motion carried.
Make a motion to go into executive session, personnel to discuss appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, and/or performance of specific employees pursuant to section 2C1 of the Open Meetings Act, 5 ILCS 102/2C1.
I'll second
Call it?
Pearl,
it. Yes.
Jenkins,
Yes.
Han,
Yes.
McKinley,
Yes.
motion carried.
We're in session, and we move on to section 4, other items, city manager's report. No, oh, I'm sorry.
Release number 6.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Number 6 then.
Make a motion to open executive session minutes of the city of Farmer City because council president finds that a need for confidentiality does not exist.
Call.
Pearl,
Yes.
Jenkins,
Yes.
Klein,
Yes.
McKinley,
Yes.
motion carries.
Now we move to section 4. City manager's report.
Just a couple things here, since some of this we've already talked about. But you see there about the cemetery lift station and the need to have the repairs made there. That is something that you passed tonight. I did have a department head meeting. We're starting the budget process. So hopefully about the middle of March, we'll be bringing you something. It'll be a rough draft, if nothing else, but maybe just some ideas so you know where we're headed at. In the meeting, Rick threw out that the light plane's going to need a roof this year. We put money in there for the roof for the warehouse. Yes, sir?
Did we put one of those I-seat roofs on there long? That's
It's
maybe,
been quite some time ago.
it's
Yeah.
been 25 years ago,
Yes. Uh-huh.
so that has finally worn out.
Yeah, and it leaks pretty good out there. He's been chasing 4 or 5 leaks, so he was hoping to have gotten a roof on it last year, but we did that improvement out there, so the money wasn't there for a roof then. So
What are the options for a roof, other than that type of, because that's a pretty good roof. Is there another option? Is there?
I don't know. We would seek bids, so I'm sure we'll come up with a lot of different ideas.
I think it's 25 years
On a flat roof.
on a flat roof.
In Illinois. So anyway, Rick had said that he's going to be needing a roof out there, and his trucks are getting aged, but he said that obviously the roof would be more important than maybe getting the truck updated. At the last meeting, I said something about some Main Street improvements. Since then, I've contacted 4 people down on Main Street. We're going to have a meeting. Originally, I was scheduled to be tomorrow, but it's going to be Thursday morning down at KNS. You see it's Mary Walker, Aaron McKinley, Kurt Holman, and Terry Emerson and myself. I'm going to sit down and try to come up with some ideas to do beautification down on Main Street. Don't know how in-depth it'll be, maybe some benches. I've got the name of the gentleman that does the murals on the side of the buildings. If you want to get back to the rustic look, and if the funds are there, maybe that's something we can do. Keep in mind that we have TIF infrastructure money set aside for such expenses. The next thing is that I did go down to the Heartland Bank and talked about the pedestrian crossing idea that I had thrown out at the last meeting and sidewalk, just to see if there would be any interest for financial support while we did that. DNR will grant up to 50% back, or not to exceed $200,000 for such a project. The bank said that they would gladly work with us. If that's something that we wanted to do, we would have to be able to pay for it 100% up front, and then put in and hope we get the grant back. So I don't know if you want me to proceed with that. And you see there, the only bad thing is that there's a March 1st deadline that's approaching. So if we don't do it this March 1st, then we'll have to wait until next March. So I don't know what you'll want to do with that.
There's no financial obligations or anything before we put it for the
There's a
grant.
$300 application fee, so there is a financial.
Right.
And if you get selected, and if you don't do it, you're kicked off the list for 2 years.
Right.
So
Well, I think we're definitely interested in doing it.
But there's no guarantee that the IDNR is going to be paying anything back? Or will they?
no, there's no guarantee. But then if they don't, then you're not going to do it. Right. I mean, you wouldn't do it without being on
Right.
money, would you?
No.
You want me to complete the grant application?
Go with it.
Okay. Keep in mind, you know, you're looking at 350,000 up front, minimum. But that's a pretty good ballpark. And I gotta throw you an estimate because we didn't spend any money on engineering or anything. And I don't know that we would necessarily have to, but knowing DNR, as soon as we decide to cross Salt Creek, we'll have to have Farnsworth involved in it. So, but it'll all be a pretty simple project, so.
Let's look at this in another way of crossing that creek. Maybe not down here south on Main Street, but let's, I don't know, go to the cemetery.
We thought about that, and the only thing is that it's kind of a hidden area. Now, obviously, if you made a sidewalk back in there, it would be more traveled. 2 or 3 weeks ago, we had vandalism down at the cemetery lift station. Fence got tore up and stuff. I don't know if being isolated back in there, that you would want somebody back in there. The distance is going to be the same to get across. And you're going to have to build a sidewalk. I don't know that it would be any shorter of a distance. By the time you went down, maybe that either drive, and went down, and it might even be a little bit longer. I mean, you'd have to measure. I could measure it, but to get across the creek, I think no matter what, you're going to be pretty close to the same, no matter where you go.
Yeah, you and I talked about it a couple of years when we first started talking about it, and about that spot, and you had said that it ended up costing the same as going by, or roughly.
Would you think it'd be about the same distance?
Yeah, probably so.
I mean, I can get out there and wheel it and see.
Oh, it wouldn't be too far off. You mean as far as the span of the creek?
Well, the whole thing. But if you did sidewalk, and if you stayed along South Main, Willard, my thought was you have a series of street lights there, which we
Well, that's
approved
true.
a couple of years ago. And if nothing else, we could get Rick to put another arm over the sidewalk, so really have it illuminated. I just thought that would be a better area.
So move forward with the grant.
Yeah, I don't see any problem.
Before, we've had a council meeting interrupted once, and I know some of you have gotten phone calls before. There seems to be a problem down there on Maple Street with that sewer line. I don't know when that sewer line was ever put in. I know that shortly after I started working here for the city, we spent nights down there trying to get that sewer line cleaned out. We've recently had Schoonover back down there again. This time we tried to have Schoonover's camera go through it. Our camera wouldn't go through it. Schoonover can't get his camera to go through it. And they seem to think that it's got some type of settling or just a dip for some reason in it that's causing a continual blockage. We keep spending money down there on it. It seems like it's come to the point in time when that sewer needs to be improved. And you're looking at right about 800 feet of new sewer line. It would be from where Western Avenue comes out on to Maple, and then you're going to go north up to Franklin or Indiana, whichever they think will end up serving the needs of the customers there. And it would be a little bit deeper so we can make sure that we can get the basements as well down through there. So that's something that will be an expense to come up in the sewer fund.
And Hale put that in. He did it on his own.
Did he put all that in?
Because he had a house down there, and he had
The
more,
laundromat,
well, he had a laundromat at one house, and it had another house, and he
They didn't do a very good job.
no, he didn't do a very good job. It's just kind of, it's like that deal down there on Green Street too, it's the same thing. It's
Yeah.
hard to put in, the city wouldn't do it.
I had told you about the parking up there in front of the Schneider building. I did meet with Susan Wilson and Paige Trimble. We went out, did a little bit of measurements for the actual right-of-way of the street is 66 feet. Don't know where the pin is on the east side of John Street, but measured and looks like angle parking, that the parking can be changed to the angle parking, and new sidewalk be put in, and still remain on the city right away. Susan was going to take it to the school board just to make sure that they would be good with it. Now, the trees would have to be cut down. A couple limbs may have to be trimmed back up. But they were rather excited about it. They thought that as far as the safety of the kids up there, that it would really be a good deal for that. City clerk is going to be posting notices in the local papers for the cash renting of the 20 acres out there. Last year we renewed that contract, and then we kind of heard that maybe we weren't charging a good rate. It had been increased for years, and last year it kind of got by us. Now there's multiple people interested in farming that, so we're going to let that out for bid. And also we're going to do the mowing bids. We're going to do multiple years on the mowing bids when we let that out, so those notices will be coming out here pretty soon. And I put out there that the new golf cart ordinance becomes effective April 1st. So you might want to be reminding people that you know have been traveling with their golf carts, because now, you know, they've got to get their permits since we've passed that ordinance. And it's been a hot topic for quite a while. There's a property on South Maple Street that we've reopened the ordinance violation case on. So that's what I have.
Piece of property on South Maple Street.
Yes, sir.
The house has been under somewhat construction.
502 South Maple, I believe, is the address.
That's
What's-
the barricade around it.
What's the violation?
There's several state code violations there, according to our city attorney. And that may be part of our sewer blockage down there, because he used to pump water out on a continual basis out onto the street, and he hasn't been pumping any water for a long time. And we're thinking that the floor drain might not have been sealed off properly, and silt is going down into the sewer.
It's just poorly installed, it's just time for it to be taken care of.
Any question to the city manager's report? Non-agenda items, other business? I have one real quick one. I thought about this a little bit. We had the tree that was split in half, and then we barricaded the streets. We had one homeowner on that street. Our police department did not notify them of kind of why it was going on, and it would be in our best interest, and it would be in the police department's best interest to make sure that we have great public relations, and at least go and knock on the door and attempt to make some sort of contact to let them know why their street was blocked off. So if we could have a brief conversation with the police department, I would appreciate that. So
That's already happened, and that was
Okay.
more of an oversight than anything.
that's fine, and I figured that. I know that you guys were on the scene and it was cold, and the street department was on, and I appreciate everybody's work on that. I just want to make sure that our citizens are also being considered.
And to give kudos to the street department for getting the roads clean before we can go on through here. I thought they were trying to stay on to it.
Done a really good job. Wish it would stop snowing. though.
Luckily, we had no power outages too, so.
And there have been several power outages south and west of us, and I had a businessman ask me the other day why Farmer City needed their own power plant. And I said, the lights are on, aren't they? And he didn't have a response.
Yeah. I got another one that's been hounding me about this, and I'm about ready to smack it. I've had enough of it. Maybe do anything about power. It stays right where it's at. When everybody says that power, we're gonna have.
Any other non-agenda items of the business? Entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn? I'll second.
Call it.
Jenkins?
Yes.
Vaughn?
Yes.
McKinley?
Yes.
Pearl?
Yes.
Motion carried.